Hi everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you very much for joining today. Really do appreciate you, and I don't take this for granted. Thank you very much for coming on live to participate in our live sessions. Really do appreciate. And today we have another wonderful live session we are going to be discussing today. Today we have a very wonderful topic, a crucial topic that I feel that, in fact, if I didn't know this person personally, I would say this person is lying. If I am not in Canada myself physically, I would say this is a bogus conversation. This is just something that is too good to be true. If I am not in the travel sphere, if I'm not in the travel industry, I would say this is a lie. If I have not worked with immigration consultants, if I have not worked with immigration lawyers, if I have not been involved in immigration matters, I would say this is a lie. This is just another hype, or this is another how will I call it now? This is something that is too good to be true, basically. It's too good to be true. But the conversation we want to have today is a conversation that I feel, in fact, it is late. It is late for me to discuss it. What I mean is that this is a conversation I should have had time and time ago. This is a conversation I should have had weeks ago, months ago, in fact, years ago. Do you understand? Because I've been in Canada for 2 years right now, and I have seen that, oh, okay, Dauda is trying to join us. Dauda Ogunjobi, I don't know if you're able to join. Okay, Renowned Stitches backup has joined. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining. Today, we want to have a very interesting conversation. Basically, today we want to talk about an interesting topic, and this is a topic that I feel every one of us who wants to come to Canada, every one of us who are already in Canada, every one of us who just feels that yes, you have someone to come to Canada with. You understand? Like, you want someone that is close to you, your family member or your friend, to come to Canada. This is a conversation that I feel every one of us must talk about. Do you understand? So, without wasting much time, I know we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube today. We want to talk about the LinkedIn newsletter article we wrote just today. Just today. Okay. Renowned Fashion Backup is saying, thanks for accepting my request. You are very much welcome, Ma. Thank you for also joining. We see a lot of people want to join on live today. I think this time is quite okay for live. If it's okay, put a thumbs up. Let me know. Let me be informed that you like this time so that we can be trying to come for the live sessions around this time. Now, today's topic is centered on the article that I said we wrote today, which we published today on LinkedIn. If you are not yet on our LinkedIn, please go right now and join us on LinkedIn. Follow us, subscribe to our newsletter on LinkedIn, which is known as Relocation 360 by A.O.S. It's very important, because in that newsletter we give you trending topics, trending issues. We talk about news, updates, and what is actually going on this immigration sphere right now in Canada. Okay, I see a lot of people joining. Femi Too Nice, he says, I really want to come Canada. Okay, that's cool. Who again? We have Renowned Stitches. We have Dauda Ogunjobi on TikTok. All right. Please, if you have any questions, this is the time you need to ask your questions. We are right here live, so we can actually answer your questions. Any question you have, put it on the comment section. Before we start the topic for today, the topic for today we want to talk about is actually a story that was said to me by one person that is very close to me. She's a lady and she's in Canada as an international student. She told me this weekend that she wasted $32,000 on a Canadian diploma and didn't process a permanent residency visa, which is the visa we have opportunity to get, the PR visa. So we are going to be discussing it based on what she said, because I actually recorded what she said and we penned it down and we shared it on our newsletter article on TikTok. But before then, if you have any questions, for those that have joined us, or you just want to wait before we, you understand, round off today when you are going to ask your questions later, no problem. If you want to wait until when we are done with the live session, no problem. That could also help. Now, this is a story of, as I said, our friend. And I met her in Canada. I didn't know her before we came to Canada, so I cannot really say prior to 2023 I knew her. It was just 2023 when we first came afresh, we knew her. And just like when we first came, many of us had little knowledge about what immigration is about. You understand? Many of us were just novices in the immigration sphere when we landed. So I understand when she didn't feel it's a kind of waste to actually spend much for international studies. But when she has now spent 2 years down the line and she sees that, oh, she may have to go back to Nigeria, that is when she now felt that, oh man, I think I wasted my money. But let's listen to her or read her, you understand, topic, because I don't want to actually play her audio. Some people may actually get to know her voice, but I'm going to be reading what she actually talked about on the session that we had together. Okay, Femi Too Nice is saying, how can I come to Canada via student? Very cheap one route, please. Very cheap one, very funny. Your question is very funny. Um, by virtue of study route is not a cheap route. It's not the cheap route. But if you want very cheap route, out of the three options, which is to come into Canada as a minor, or to come into Canada as an adult, or to come into Canada, you understand, as someone that wants to study, there are different studies. We have studies for professional degrees, which is like nursing, medicine, you understand, engineering, which are very expensive. You understand, you may go just like this. My friend actually came to Canada. She came to Canada with the cheaper or the very cheap route, which is the business administration route, which many people always get. People will say, oh, I want a cheap studies in Canada. Yes, you can come to Canada with cheap studies. You want to come with cheap routes, like the very person we are going to talk about today. She came into Canada with business administration. She didn't do bachelor's, she didn't do master's degree, which is more expensive. You understand? It's more expensive. She came through postgraduate diploma PGD, which is cheaper. You understand? Very cheap. But very cheap is still going to spend you $32,000, or in some cases you may spend cheaper, maybe like $20,000. So that is still cheap compared to the ones that will spend 60,000, the ones that will spend 80,000 and things like that. Oh, okay, someone said I am 30 years old. Okay, that's Femi Too Nice. Dauda Ogunjobi, what about vocational training, boss? Are they offering this from those colleges? Now, there are different colleges and different programs. If you want vocational trainings, it's also available. You can get vocational training programs to actually, you can come into Canada to learn mechanic, to learn plumbing, to learn carpentry, to learn things like that. Any which one you want to learn, that is actually okay. You can browse some schools, just put it mechanic schools in Canada. You see it, carpentry schools in Canada, you see it. You understand? Just browse it on YouTube or Google, and you will see a lot of schools that can actually train you for that. So today may be a long one because we started with questions first, which was on on head of before we always start with the topic for today. After talking about the topic, then we ask questions and things like that. So today may be a quite long one. Please bear with us. But this article that we have today, for those that are joining on YouTube and you understand, on all the social media platforms, I shared the screen. I said, the article for today is I wasted $32,000 Canadian dollars. And maybe before we even talk about any other thing, let's talk about that $32,000. What is that $32,000? Because when we say things like this, when we put numbers like this, people don't really understand the numbers, especially someone that is not in Canada already, someone that is not, you understand, earning in Canadian dollars, basically. So if you're not earning in Canadian dollars, I understand you. Let's now convert that amount to the money that you may already know. Do you understand? In Canada, at least based on Lemfi is a finance tech company, a fintech company, and it's a fintech company that helps to actually convert Nigerian naira to Canadian dollars. And if we look at their app right now, on their app, the amount or the exchange rate of Nigerian naira to Canadian dollars is 120, 1,240 rather, I said 120, 1,240 naira per one Canadian dollars. Do you understand? $1,240 for 40 naira for one Canadian dollars. If you look at that amount, that means $32,000, 32,000 Canadian dollars times 1,240 Canadian Nigerian naira. That would amount to about 39,680,000 naira. What am I saying thousand for? 39,680,000 naira. 39,680,000. So let's say summation or approximation of that. Approximation of that is 40 million naira. 40 million naira. That's the approximation. The approximation of 32,000 Canadian dollars in Nigerian currency is 40 million naira. So this person, my friend, said, I wasted $32,000, which is 40 million naira, on a Canadian diploma and didn't process my permanent residency visa. Now, this is very important. This is, in fact, this is a bombshell. If I don't know the person, as I said, one-on-one, I'll say the person lied. If I didn't see the receipts, I'll say it's a lie. If I didn't actually was, because this person also joined, she also came into Canada the same time, around the same time I came into Canada. You understand? 2023 May was when I came into Canada. Around the same time I came into Canada was when this person came into Canada. And I have been in Canada for 2 years. The person, of course, too, have been in Canada for 2 years because we came around the same time. So the person has spent within these 2 years 40 million naira on a program that she's going to finish this August. And this amount has not yet included the living costs like rent. It hasn't included accommodation. It hasn't included finances for feeding. It hasn't included like internet cost. It hasn't included even books cost and things like that. Okay, Dauda Ogunjobi is saying, what about, oh, okay, she's saying, boss, I want to ask if that $7,000 you requested for PR package is Canadian or US dollars. Well, we don't really talk about our packages on live, but USD, if you look at the website there, and if you click on the links, the exact currency is going to be stated there. PR package, I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to PR package is different from study package or Ontario Secondary School Diploma package. Ontario Secondary School Diploma package, for the one that we actually linked up with, what do you call this organization? Canadian International Secondary School. The money they charge for it is $7,000. USD is all the money that is there. There's no CAD there. USD, 7,000 USD is for the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. You understand? Which is on our website, aos.name.ng. That is for those that want to come into Canada to study. Do you understand? That's the money for the processing, money for the admission and things like that. I think we have had what they call it, a webinar video where we explained what the money is for. So if you click on the link and you go on the website, you will see and be able to even watch the webinar where we itemized. We had a representative that came from Canadian International Secondary School that explained what the OSSD package is all about. Do you understand? Now, the PR package, like the essentials package, is cheaper than that. It's cheaper than 7,000. We also have the premium package. So just go on the website, watch the webinars. Don't just assume. When you watch the webinars, it would itemize it. There are some webinars I did. There are some webinars we did with our immigration consultants. There are some webinars we did with representatives from Canadian International Secondary School that explained all the amounts in details. So I mean permanent residency package. So no problem. Just once you go on the webinar, once you watch the webinar, it will tell you what package cost is. It is what it entails, what it covers, and things like that. Okay, let's move on. So all prices, as I've said, all prices is in USD, US dollars, not CAD. Do you understand? USD. So I hope I've answered that question. Now let's move on. We have talked about the 32,000 Canadian dollars, and we have given you the equivalence of 32,000 Canadian dollars in what? In Nigerian naira. In Nigerian naira, 32,000 Canadian dollars is 40 million naira. 40 million naira approximately. As at now, as at today, the value of that as at today is maybe cheaper before. But even though if it was cheaper 2 years ago, it can't be lesser than at least 30 million naira. It can't be lesser. Do you understand? So what we are saying is, if we look at that, this person actually spent like times 3, times 4 of what, or even times 5 self of what she was meant to spend for permanent residence. So she said, I wasted 32,000 Canadian dollars on a Canadian diploma and didn't process my permanent residency visa. Now, let's now read, because I've just been talking about that topic, that title. That title has been coming on my head, the amount she spent. But let's listen to what she said on the audio that we conversed with. She said, okay, the subtitle of the article is Why Many International Students Regret Their Study Path, and what you that are actually listening to us, you that are watching us, what you can do differently. What can you do differently? What can you spend on that would make you get much more value? Because look at the scenario of the person that came to Canada 2 years ago. Around the same time I landed in Canada. I came into Canada May 2023. She was to come into Canada, I think, August or September 2023, but she later came in later. But now our program is expiring. Like, our program is not expiring, it's finishing. She's rounding off her program this August. And if she's not fast, if she's not fast with switching her visa, if she's not fast with getting something that will make her stay back in Canada, which is another visa, a permanent residency visa, a work visa, a visit visa, she must get one visa again. If she's not fast with that, my people, she would have to go back to Nigeria. All those 30 to 40 million naira she spent to study and to get her diploma in Canada, she said it will go to waste. She said she wasted it. Even though me, I would say she did not waste it. I think she collects certificates. It's true now. Let's be frank. She collects certificates. They did not just collect the money from you without giving you something in return. Right? They gave you what? They gave you the certificate, the diploma that you wanted to get. They gave you. And that is what you signed up for. Yes, it may be harsh, but that is what you signed up for. You signed up to collect diploma. You signed up to collect certificates. Abi? But let's listen to what she said. Now, an introduction based on the article that we wrote. We said this is the story of one of our close friends in Canada. Because she's so dear to me, she's so dear to us, let's just call her Shade in this conversation. That's not her real name, but let's call her Shade in this article because I don't want to spill out her own real name. So people should not be thinking maybe she has the money, because some people, just like in our own situation, it's not that she had the 40 million naira waiting in her bank account. She had to work, she had to grind, she had hand money, she even borrowed money, just like many people would do. She went to borrow money, but there are some big things now that is still on her head that she has not finished paying. So let's just forget about that. I didn't talk about that. But in her own time of self-reflection, when she was discussing with us, she made some statements. And those statements are the statements we would like to share with you in this conversation. We would like to share with you, our audience. So please sit back, relax, be like me. Sit back, you understand? And let's read our dialogue with her. Let's read what she had to say. Because there's a difference. There's a difference between her and me. Actually, my common law partner, she's much more close to my common law partner than me. Do you understand? Because of course, women will be closer than each other, to each other than men. She's more closer to my common law partner. So she said more things to my common law partner, which I actually got access to. And I said, okay, let's discuss it. Even though I'm not using her name, I'm not talking about her personally. I'm not, you understand, divulging her personal information. But let's talk about Shade's confessions. The first thing she said when she was conversing with us is that Canada is still a land of opportunities. She made sure she told us that yes, there are still a lot of opportunities in Canada. You still get a lot of opportunities, because one of the opportunities she made mention is that where she's working, by virtue of the permanent resident status and the citizenship status that some of our own colleagues have where she's working. You understand? They earn more than her, and they don't do more work than the work that she does. Now let's rewind that. They earn more than her. You understand? They don't do much work like what she does in the place. And she said that, in fact, they are the ones that do most of the work, like students, international students, visitors that came in illegally, that are working illegally. They are the ones that do more work. You understand? And they earn pennies. But those that are permanent residents, those that are citizens, that they have the status, an employer cannot do anyhow to them. They earn more while doing less. Okay, funny Gabby on TikTok is saying, is this TikTok? Okay, no, yeah, it's TikTok. Yeah. So I was on Instagram. It was Instagram. She said, talk about on humanitarian path of Newfoundland. I don't really understand the question. You are talking about two different things, or maybe that's what I think. Humanitarian path is a compassionate and humanitarian grounds, which is a path many refugees come through and protected persons. Newfoundland, are you talking about their own programs like PMP programs, like RCIP programs, like what they call it now, rural and northern immigration pilot? What exactly? Because you said two things there. You said humanitarian path. You also said Newfoundland. And Newfoundland is, I believe, Newfoundland and Labrador. That is the province. So please elaborate on your question so that I can respond to it. Now, let's take Shade's confessions. Shade said, Canada is still a land of opportunities. But the truth about it is, land of opportunities for who? Land of opportunities for the persons that have the right status. Land of opportunities for the persons that are not being exploited. But let's leave that one. That's my own commentary. Let's leave that one. Let's listen to what she said. She said, but if I could rewind time, if she could go back in time 2 years back, which is not very far, 2023 that we came, 2 years back, May 2023. In fact, when I look at it, look as if it's yesterday that I entered Canada. She said, if I could rewind time, I would have made a smarter, more strategic choice with the 32,000 Canadian dollars I spent chasing a Canadian credential. She said she could have made a more strategic, a more smarter choice. And this is another thing, even though I didn't talk about this in the article. Shade is someone that has ICANN. She has ACC because, of course, she was an accountant from Nigeria. And in fact, funny enough, you see, my own cousin who is in Canada, who is precisely in British Columbia, Canada, is also qualified like how Shade is. Shade also has ACC. My cousin also has ACC. You understand? My cousin doesn't speak French yet. Shade too, as at 2 years ago, she didn't speak French. She didn't learn French. Do you understand? Shade, as at 2 years ago, she is less than 30 years. Even my cousin, as at 2 years ago, he was less than the age of 30. But now look at the path both of them made. My own cousin, as at 2023, in fact 2022, not even 2023, 2022, he was already in Canada. Do you understand? As what? As a permanent resident. Shade entered Canada as what? As an international student in 2023. Look at the same qualifications, but different pathways. The same qualifications they had, but the both of them chose two different routes. My cousin now, this year, I think May or June, is going to become a citizen of Canada by God's grace because he's going to apply and he's going to qualify. That one is not even easy because citizenship is not difficult. You understand? Once you are here for 3 years and you have done your service, you have paid your taxes, you have done it, you understand? You become citizen. But Shade right now, the virtue or the time she spent in Canada as an international student doesn't qualify her for citizenship yet. She has to become a PR before she can get to become a citizen. She has spent 2 years, not up to the 3 years that is required for citizenship. But even if it was up to the 3 years, as an international student, she cannot file for citizenship. Rather, she will be pursuing permanent residence. And that is exactly what she's trying to pursue within now and August, when our program actually, you understand, elapses. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we have another question from TikTok. Funny Gabby 12 is asking, there is a program Newfoundland launched at the moment for refugee claimants. Canada, they call humanitarian path. Okay. Now, thank you that you said there is a program. That means it's a new program, right? It's a new program Newfoundland actually launched. So for me, yeah, right now, I don't know about that program. You understand? Because I don't like to talk about anything I'm not aware about. I don't know about the program. I am not informed about the program. But even though I don't know about it, let me just type it on the Google, because Google, as they say, is your friend. I mean, they say Google is your friend. So even if I don't know about the program, let's type it on Google now and let's use it to answer your question. Newfoundland refugee humanitarian program. All right. So let's see what Google has to say about the program. So Google is still searching. Okay. Here we have it. Government of Newfoundland and Labrador call for proposals to support humanitarian migrants. They said Newfoundland and Labrador actively support refugee settlements through various programs, including the Private Sponsorship of Refugees (PSR) and the Blended Visa Office Referral Program (BVOR). The province also supports settlement services and collaborates with organizations to support humanitarian migrants, including those that are awaiting decisions on their refugee claims. Okay. They said individuals or families can sponsor for under the Private Sponsorship of Refugees Program (PSR) through the Newfoundland and Labrador government, helping to address the barriers. Okay. Oh, okay. She said, I am currently in Newfoundland through humanitarian. Oh, through humanitarian. That's good. So perhaps you know more about it than us. Maybe you can give us some information. You understand? Give us some information about the humanitarian program. As I said, I don't have information about it. I don't know about the humanitarian program. So you can let us know what are the requirements. Since you are there already, let us know what are the requirements of the program. What do we need to know about the program? How does the program benefit the average immigrant who wants to come to Canada? Let us know. And you can also come on live with us right now. I think we are live, so you can join our conversation and just take about 5 to 10 minutes to explain what the program is all about. Okay, Alberto Ifani G. Bamidele, thank you very much for liking our live. So, whilst we wait for, who is that now? While we wait for Funny Gabby 12 to come on live to talk about the Newfoundland and Labrador humanitarian program, let's keep on talking about what we have for today. So we are talking about this conversation with Sade. And Sade was the one that was telling us that if she could rewind time, she could have made a smarter and more strategic choice with her 32,000 Canadian dollars, which she spent on chasing a Canadian credential. Now she said, like many hopefuls, many people that are hoping for the best, just like her, she said she believed that studying in Canada would be a golden ticket to permanent residence. Instead, I found myself, now number one, she said she found herself overqualified because of course I told you she has ACC, she has ICANN, you understand? She's a chartered accountant, she's a professional accountant. So she was overqualified. But again, apart from being overqualified, she was underemployed. Because you are a chartered accountant, but as an international student, you cannot work as a chartered accountant yet. So she was underemployed, even though she had ACCA, and she was overwhelmed by a system that didn't match the promises she believed in. What were the promises she believed in? Just like the normal average travel agent will tell you, come into Canada first. Just enter Canada first. Go and study in Canada. When you study in Canada, you'll be figuring it out. Okay. She's part of the person that is figuring it out now. She's figuring it out herself now. You understand? So Alberto, thank you very much for liking our live session. She's figuring it out now. Now, there's something I always tell people. What I don't know, I will not talk about it. What I don't know, I will not give any false information about it. Just like the situation of what happened right now. Someone is talking about the humanitarian program for the Newfoundland and Labrador. I don't know about the program, and this is a live session. I'm not bullshitting anybody here. I don't know about the program, so I said it right now that I don't know about it. I don't see. It's better I say I don't know about it, and at the end of the day, you go and find another person that knows about it that will talk about that program. Than me telling you one cock and bull story, and at the end of the day, that is not what it is. It will affect you. It will affect my own credibility too. So I don't know about the program. I said it, but this person that is sharing our own conversation, sharing our own experience with me, I know about her experience, and secondly, I know about the better experience that I have had with my own common law partner in Canada. That is why I'm talking about it. Do you understand? Now, she said she was overwhelmed by the system. What was the system she was mentioning? The international studies system, because she had to work, you understand, part-time jobs, which we'll still get to, and she had to actually earn pennies because she's underemployed. She cannot work as a chartered accountant and earn more. Okay, take for instance my own tax accountant. My tax accountant in Canada, of course, she's a citizen, she's a Nigerian, she has been here for decades. You understand? But this woman, she's not just more qualified, she is qualified, and the money she's making, when you're a business owner now, you cannot be working like the average Jack and Jill. She's a business owner, she owns her business, people work for her, and sometimes when I go to her office, my mom is just eating and watching Netflix. Because she has paid her time, she has done her service, she's now enjoying. You understand? She's qualified, she's earning more, and you see the car that she's driving, 2024 car. Now she's telling me that we are heading 2025, she wants to go and change the car. Hey, oh boy. You understand? She wants to go and change the car. She is a landlord or a landlady in Canada right now. She owns her own home. You understand? She's also renting out her own property for people to actually come in. So what am I saying in essence? Why? Because this woman, she said she came in as a permanent resident. She came in with the right papers, and she was able to enjoy. She's not just enjoying from the money that she worked for. She's also enjoying from the government benefits that the government is giving her to actually study, giving her to work, giving her to stay in the country. That's a story for another day. Maybe that will be another story that I'll talk about my tax accountant later. Let's talk about the conversation we had with Shade. Shade is saying, this is my honest reflection and a cautionary tale for anyone considering the same path. Now, this place where she talked about the $32,000 realization. She said, I enrolled in a graduate level program in Canada studies, thinking I was investing in my future. Just like many people always say that, yes, when you come into Canada, you are investing in your future, but you did not tell you that you are truly investing in the school that you are going to. It's the school that you are going to, you are investing in, because they will use your money well, judiciously. Of course, you are paying them for a program, you are paying them for a certificate. That's why I was telling Shade that no, don't say you wasted your 32,000. You paid the $32,000, the 40 million naira, to get a certificate. You paid to actually get what? A diploma. And I was asking her the question when we were conversing. Did the country or did the college give you the diploma? She said yes, they are going to give her this end of August. I said, hey, so if they will give you, then truly you didn't waste it. You got your what? The certificate you asked for. You got the diploma you asked for. Okay, 888. 888 is saying, At the end of the day, you invested in your future. Good. That is it. The exact thing I told her, 888. At the end of the day, Shade invested in her future. Right? Okay, let's move on. She said, I was told, study in Canada, get a postgraduate work permit, work 1 to 2 years or 3 years, and apply for permanent residence. Beautiful plan. That is the same plan they tell a lot of international students coming into Canada. Let's now break that plan in chunks and bits so that you understand. They say study here in Canada. That means just like in the situation of Shade, Shade came into Canada and studied for 2 years, from 2023 to 2025, right? She studied in Canada for 2 years. Now, peradventure, by God's grace, she gets a postgraduate work permit. Because she studied for 2 years, she will have the opportunity to work for 3 years if the program is qualified for postgraduate work permit. So 2 plus 3 years, that's 5 years, right? Meanwhile, look at it, the first 2 years, she got study permit. So she was a temporary resident. The second 3 years, she might get postgraduate work permit. So she will what? Be a work or a temporary foreign worker. She will be a temporary foreign worker under work permit, right? So that is 5 years. 5 years for her being a temporary foreign person, a temporary foreign student or a temporary foreign worker. In the term of Canada, she is just a traveler. She's a traveler that came to study and she's a traveler that came to work. She's not an immigrant that came to reside in Canada. She's not an immigrant that came to stay here permanently. Because within that 2 years and 3 years where she is studying and working, the 5 years period, she can still go back to her country. They can still tell her to go back to her country and they are not giving her PR. Yes, she can still go back to her country. But institutions like us that came into Canada directly as permanent residents, right from the year 2023, they consider us as immigrants. People always feel everybody that comes into the country is an immigrant. No, don't mistake it. You can either be a traveler or you can be an immigrant. Who is a traveler? A traveler is someone that came for another purpose apart from PR. What is the other purpose? You came as a visitor or as a tourist. You came as a student. You came as a worker. You came as even a refugee claimant. Those are people that came through as a traveler, just came to cruise. You understand? Whether to study, to work, you understand? Do anything. But someone that came as an immigrant is someone that came to stay here permanently. Is someone that say, we die here. Is someone that came to be here permanently. Right? Please, are you understanding? I'm trying to simplify the conversation we had with Shadi. Are you understanding the conversation? Okay, good. So she said she was told. Who was she told by? She was told mostly by all these travel agents or even people that are, you understand, on groups, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups that forget now, Canada is not difficult. Come and study. And of course, it's not when you are coming to study, it's not difficult to come. I have to be frank with you. Why is it not difficult? Because the colleges, the universities, the polytechnics know that you are bringing money to them. You are coming to pay them. You understand? So they will be happy to welcome you because, of course, it's your money. Of course, it's your money. So they are willing to actually accept you that, come and pay your tuition fee now. Come. Just like the situation we were saying to my common law partner. My common law partner is in a school. You understand? She's in a college where international students are and even regular students, or what we call local students. Local students are students that are citizens or permanent residents. My own, when Shade came to this place, when Shade came to visit us in her house, and she was telling us that she's paying 32,000 Canadian dollars, or she paid 32,000 Canadian dollars for 2 years program. And she was not asking my own partner, my common law partner, that, okay, you two, you are in school, how much did you pay? She said, actually, she was meant to pay 6,000, but the government the Canadian government actually gave her grants. You understand? And she had access to loans. You understand? Cheap loans, easy loans without any interest. She said even the grant alone, without the loan, has paid for her school fees for the 2-year program she did. It has paid the $6,000 that the government gave her as grant. Pay, collect and don't refund the money. Collect and don't worry about paying back the money. So she said that 2 years she spent as my own partner as a permanent resident in Canada, the 6,000 she was meant to pay to the school. Now understand it. The program that sister was paying for, Shadi, is 32,000 Canadian dollars as international student. That money that she is paying, it is already 5 to 6 times more than the money my own partner is currently paying in her own college for a program, the same diploma. Do you understand? It's already 5 to 6 times more. But again, the Canadian government, through what we know as OSAP, OSAP stands for Ontario Student Assistance Program. You understand? Ontario Student Assistance Program, which is a grant. This is something you can browse. We have talked about it extensively in our live sessions. We have talked about it in details. You understand? We have explained what OSAP is. This is not the first time I'm talking about it. And it is not something that is scam. I mean, we have seen people, even before me I landed, you understand? We have seen people that have benefited from it in tens and 20, you understand, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that have collected it from the government of Canada like that they do not even have to pay back. You understand? Just school, just study, just get the certificates. That is what the Canadian government is all about. Get the certificates and, you understand, be employable. They want to make you employable in Canada. So the same program that Shade came to study as an international student in Canada, paying 32,000 Canadian dollars, roughly 40 million naira. My own partner, my common partner, studied that same program for 6,000. She was meant to pay $6,000, but the government of Canada even gave her grants to pay for what? To pay for that program. So she was schooling for free, one. She was being paid to school because the grants also included living expenses. You understand? It was not just only the tuition. So even it was not just 6,000 she collected. That's another thing. She collected more than that 6,000. And this is something you can browse. Once you browse OSAP, you learn about it. Okay, JP is asking, please, what is the name of the certificate? The name of the certificate, Business Administration, is the name of the program. And of course, business diploma. We have college diploma, we have postgraduate diploma. Do you understand? That's the name of the certificate. Whether college diploma, postgraduate diploma, it is. Now, Frederick Millie is asking, so what is the point? What is your point in all this? Okay, good. The point in all this is what Shade said in our conversation. She said, I enrolled in a graduate level program in Canada, in Canadian studies, where she paid 32,000 Canadian dollars. And she was thinking she was investing in her future. Just like she was told, study in Canada, get a postgraduate work permit, work 1 to 2 to 3 years, and apply for PR. She now said, sounds simple, right? But she now said, this is where the point comes in. But nobody warned her. Nobody warned me about, number one, how competitive the job market truly is in Canada. How competitive the job market in Canada to get a job, how it is difficult to get a job in Canada, especially as an international student. The other point is how the field that she came to study, business administration, how it had little demand under the Express Entry program. Because for those that know, Express Entry now is all about what you studied, the skills you have, and there are some skills that people think that are useless, like trade skills, to become a carpenter, to become a mechanic, that are even much more valuable. We share work, handiwork. They are much more valuable than even some of the degrees like some people are coming to get in Canada, which is like business administration. You understand? She said no one warned her about the post graduation, how she might struggle to get a job under the tier category or the NOC code 0 for managers, A for professionals, B for what? For college graduates, which she can use for permanent residency. She said nobody also warned her how fast immigration policies will change. Sometimes how it even changed overnight, like it did in this year 2025. So the point we are trying to make is that just like I conversed with Shade was saying it, that they were thinking that the postgraduate work permit program would be the same as it was 2 years back. But 2 years back, anybody could get postgraduate work permit so far you just studied in Canada. But now the Canadian government is saying many people that went to colleges looking for cheap, just like someone in the comment section asked us when we started this live session, that, oh, please, I want to come to Canada. Can you tell me a cheap program or a cheap school or a cheap, you understand, degree I can do? I will say yes, cheap. Just like Shade too was looking for. Shade was looking for cheap. That is why she came through what? The business administration program. Because for many people that know, business administration is one of the cheaper programs you can use to enter Canada. But when you are looking for cheap, does that mean that cheap will guarantee your permanent residence? Oh, Frederick Millie, she said, coming on a school visa isn't automatic PR. Frederick has said it, and that is the point we are trying to make. Thank you for giving us the point. That is the, why am I saying this? Why are we making this conversation, talking about this? Why are we having this conversation? Is because many times, often than not, people would reach out to me and tell me, I want to relocate to Canada, or I want to migrate to Canada through the study route. And I'll tell them, even your question is wrong. The question you are asking is wrong. Because immigration is not studies. Someone that is immigrating to Canada is someone that is coming through permanent residency. But someone that is traveling to Canada is someone that is coming on a study visa or a work visa or a visitor visa. So even your question is wrong. Because you can't immigrate as a student. And that is the point we are trying to make. That just like Shade came, she spent 32,000 Canadian dollars. In Nigerian currency, that is 40 million naira. She said in a conversation with us that meanwhile, that same $32,000 she spent on studies could have been used to cover her settlement funds under the Express Entry program, which she didn't use. Okay, Frederick Millie is also saying, I don't even know this person, but this person is conversing. Thank you very much, Frederick Millie, for conversing with us. She said, people have spent as high as $60,000 and they are still stuck. Thank you very much, Frederick Millie. I really appreciate your conversation today. Look at what Frederick Millie is saying. I don't know if this person is Canadian or if this person is from somewhere else. But he said, even some people have spent over $60,000 Canadian dollars and they are still stuck. How are they stuck? They don't have their PR visa. They are not like us that have great PR visa. Okay, Frederick Millie is saying, you, visa? Oh, okay. Maybe you're asking the visa I have. The visa I have, by God's grace, is what? Is the permanent residency status. I've had it for 2 years. Do you understand? Frederick Millie is also saying, when you are applying for your visa, you also clearly say you will return back to your country. This is a very good contributor. In fact, I'm going to give you, do they always give anybody all this batches or something? I think there should be a batch that will give you, like batch of good contributor or something. Let's start your comments. If that is what I can do. Let me start the comment. It's a good comment. Look at it. See what Frederick Millie is saying. Frederick Millie is telling you that when you were applying for your study permit, but people don't always read that. That is the problem. Nigerians, Africans, they don't always read the fine prints. They don't always read the terms and conditions. When you were applying for your study permit, they stated it on the forms that you filled, on the agreement you signed, that once you are done with your program, your study program, you will what? You will dégager, you will effacer, you will sortir. You will sort. What is it? For those that don't speak French, dégager, you understand? You will move. You will leave the country. You will what? You will I don't know the grammar I should use again. You are going to disappear. You understand? You will disappear from the country. You will move. But people, when they come into Canada, they feel it's their birthright when they are international students to stay back in the country. Look at our fellow sister, Shadi. She also felt that way. And sadly, sometimes when I'm laughing now, but when we were discussing, it was not a funny thing. It was not something that was funny. Because this is someone that has spent so much. This is someone that has stayed in the country so much with the wrong mentality of, oh, should we have spent $32,000 now? Even me, sef, I don't tell people, even me, sef, I did not spend half of that. Quarter, sef, I did not spend. You understand? I did not spend up to that, and I still got the PR. You understand? So, you don't need to spend so much, do you understand, to get what you truly want. But people feel, if I spend more, then I will get more. Where did they tell you? Where did you read that? You know, where did you read that? So let's move on with what we have for today. She said, meanwhile, that same 32,000 Canadian dollars she spent could have covered her settlement funds for immigration to Canada permanent. 1. 2. That $32,000 she spent could have helped her pay for a legitimate job offer pathway to come into Canada to earn good money, not just the rubbish money that they are giving her in like all this nonsense Walmart, nonsense, all these restaurants, rubbish restaurants or fast food joints. Could have helped to start a business under the entrepreneurial stream. In fact, I don't talk about this so much. I don't talk about the entrepreneurial stream so much. You understand? I don't talk about it so much. But when we were having the conversation and she was saying that she got across with someone that was telling her that with 30,000, with even 20,000, she could have actually bought a Canadian business, or she could have, you understand, set up her own business in Canada and use that business as a means to get permanent residence. As a means to get permanent residence. I don't talk about the business pathway because I know many people cannot even afford it in the first place. But look at the reasoning. Look at how someone redirected her thinking. That, oh, you could have even gotten a business. You are not just going to even have one thing, which is the PR status. You could have gotten two things. You could have used one bed to kill. I say one bed. You could have used one stone to kill two birds. When you are complaining, there's no job, there's no this, there's no kidney. Maybe you could have started an accounting firm. Do you understand? In Canada, with the $32,000, and with that accounting firm, you will be able to, first of all, be earning money in Canada as a business person, and secondly, get a visa that will allow you to stay permanently in Canada using one stone, the 32,000, to kill two birds. But at the end of the day, is a college that will say thank you, but I collect a certificate. And which certificate is it? A paper certificate. It's not like the certificate guarantees even employment. The certificate does not guarantee employment. Just like she said, she is now underemployed because she is an ICANN holder. She has ACCA. She's a chartered accountant, but her chartered accountant status cannot give her what? Cannot give her the status or the value or the job she so needs to actually survive in Canada. Please, let's take a break. Let's take a 5-minute break or 2 minutes break from this conversation, because This conversation, I want to talk about it in details, but I want to also charge my laptop because my laptop is showing that it's low. So let me go and get the charger. You understand? And let's come back to discuss more about this conversation so that you yourself will understand what this conversation is about, just like someone was asking, and why you too you need to take drastic steps and not just allow anybody tell you vagabond, tell you rubbish, tell you nonsense, all in the aim of say, okay, yes, I want to what? I want to japa to Canada. So give me some minutes while I come back. I'm going to go out and I'm going to come back to actually have the conversation with you. So stay with me. So hope I wasn't late. Don't mind me. Here with me. I just have to charge my gadgets. Sometimes when you're talking, you don't know that time is going and things are things are getting low. Gracefully in Canada, there's no power shortages or things like that. But sometimes we get to work and we forget to charge. So now I'm charging so that we can be able to continue our discussion. We still have some things to read out to you. We still have some things to discuss. So I hope you are enjoying. If you are enjoying our conversation, put a thumbs up. Let's know that you are actually listening in, and what we are saying is actually of good value, great value to you. So let's know you are learning from it and be like Mr. Millie, who is also contributing. We see his contributions, we appreciate. We see how he's also contributing and giving us some, you understand, good vibes. Good vibes, and sometimes these are things people don't like to hear, right? But because you don't like to hear it, that does not mean it shouldn't be said. All right. So I see some likes. Thank you very much, everyone, for liking. Really appreciate it. JP is actually liking the live. Thank you very much for liking. Oh boy, I'm already sweating. I'm opening the doors, opening the curtains so that we can have some breeze and some time out. All right, so let's move on. I see JP. JP, thank you very much for liking. Really appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate your likes. Okay. Okay. Renowned fashion backup. Renowned fashion backup is saying, don't abuse us. We that are still in Nigeria. Oh. okay. I'm not abusing anybody. I'm not abusing anybody. I'm just saying the fact, actually. It's the fact. You know, sometimes the truth is actually bitter. But that does not mean you shouldn't say it. You understand? We have to just say the fact, you have to say the truth, and you understand. Try to let people see the reason why you need something better. Like one of our friends, one of my very good friends, Mr. Ridwan, when I converse with him, yes, he's a Muslim, he's someone that is also in Nigeria, he's a Nigerian and he's also in Canada. And he always say that if you have not traveled, sometimes you would think maybe your country or you think maybe where you are is the best. Now, if you have traveled again, you now realize it that some things that are luxury in your country some things that you feel that this thing is only the rich that can get it, or it is meant for only the rich. You now realize it that in the place you are, these things are not luxury. They are not, how will I call it now? They are basic necessities of life. In Canada, now not only Canada, in US, in UK, in other places, access to electricity, access to light is a basic phenomenon. Is a basic will, like, I don't know how to explain it. It is a basic standard of living. You need to have it. If you don't have that light, then it may be difficult for you to do some things in the generation we are right now. But in Nigeria, to get light, if you even see 12-hour light, some people say, I want wait, what? Eh? Some people say, what happened now that we even have lights 12 hours? It doesn't mean that they will now off it in the night. So you now wonder that this thing that is meant to be necessity, this thing that is meant to be your basic human right, you not even having it is not looking somehow. The first, let me give you a background story. In the year 2023, when we first came into Canada, May, I can remember. You know that time when you are not yet used to basic necessities of life, you now see light in Canada, you see electricity. That time I'll be rushing. My charger, I'll be taking power bank. Canada will look at that. Why is this power bank in Canada? It was like absurd. Even the power bank I bought from Nigeria, I don't know where it is now. You understand? I was holding power bank. Anyway, I see I'm going to go and charge. If I see small light like this, okay, my percentage is like 80%. I'll go and charge. Now, I don't know where mentality. Oh boy. See what Nigeria has caused. I'll quickly go and be charging that. I don't know when light will come in. It was my landlady that was telling me that. See, leave African mentality aside. You are now in Canada. She scolded me. You understand? She scolded me that, see, all those habits that you have had in Nigeria, stop it right now. You understand? Don't bring the same habit and mentality you have. You understand? Don't bring it into Canada. So that time I knew that, oh boy, it's true. I don't land. I supposed to stop some of the things where they do that time. I meant to stop it. In that fashion, back up, you say, so the way I am laughing. You understand? I have to stop it to kind of acclimatize to the society and say that, okay, yes, I'm not in a country that electricity is not a luxury again. Electricity is now a necessity. You understand? Electricity is not something that, yes, you're not meant to be fidgeting that, this thing will go, this thing you will lose it, this thing, it is available. Okay, let's leave that. That is not even the reason why we're here. The reason why we're here is because of the concept or the topic, 32,000 wasted. You understand? 32,000 wasted. Or let me even say it the exact way she said it. She said, I wasted $32,000, Canadian dollars, which is roughly 40 million naira, on a Canadian diploma and didn't process my permanent residency visa. Now, she was telling us that meanwhile, that same 32,000 Canadian dollars that she wasted could have been used. Firstly, I talked about to cover settlement funds, proof of funds for express entry. I've talked about that before. It could have been used to pay for a legitimate job offer pathway to Canada. She said that before. It could have been used to help her to start a business under the entrepreneur stream. We talked about that. And lastly, she said it could have also been used to fund a skilled trade certification program that leads directly to PR. Now, this is where it became funny. She was telling me that there's some trades program that, okay, she said she knows how to plait hair, at least the minimal ones, the braidings, the little that she could do, that she could have just used that to become a professional, to go and learn. She said even the learning itself that she will learn, because she already has background, it won't take her more than 6 months or 8 months, you understand, to learn the advanced way of making hair, to learn, you understand, the Oyinbo styles, to learn. He say it won't take her so much time and so much money, that she just learn a little, and with that be able to set up her own business. But she said she now went to a college that taught her business administration. She said she has a bachelor's, she has a master's, she has ICANN, and she has ACCA. She said there's virtually nothing that they are teaching her in that school that she did not know already. She said there's virtually nothing that they were teaching her in that school that she did not know already. But because she was thinking, that is the way to Canada, that is the way to stay here permanently, that's the way, she wasted the $2,000 on that. You see how she was saying it. It was bitter, and it was. Sometimes I was vexing because I was wondering that the college that you went to, they did not see your credential, they did not see all what you did, and they couldn't just advise you that okay, don't just waste money on this business administration and go and, you understand, do another. But the truth about it is, see, you can't blame anybody. You can't blame anybody. Because sometimes we ourselves, we like to blame people. We like to push the blame on other people. You can't blame anybody. The school that you had applied to, they did not tell you that okay, you must come to the school. The college that you applied to did not tell you that you have to pay them before you come into Canada. There is no school that will ever tell you that if you did not pay them their own tuition fee, you cannot come into Canada. It's a lie. If they even tell you, which I know no school will even tell you, it's a lie. But even if they tell you, it's a lie. You understand? You don't need to go to a school to enter Canada. You don't need to go into a school to stay back in Canada. I've been in Canada for 2 years right now, going to my third year. And in fact, I applied to school. Let me tell you a funny story. I applied to one school when the government of Canada, through OSAP, Ontario Students Assistance Program, when they told me that this program that I'm applying to is not eligible for the free grant and the loan that they are collecting, that they are giving internationals, that they are giving permanent residents in Canada. I said, I said, it's not. So you mean this school now? I'll not go and pay money for this school. I said, before we start school, I've already withdraw. I've withdraw admission. I said, what is the use? Children want to go to school and collect grants. You are not telling me that if I go to this school, the government will not sponsor the school because it's a professional course. I said, I know they do. I know what to do. Before they even tell me that I'm not qualified, before they tell me that okay, I'm owing money, I've already withdraw. I say I'm not more studying. I'm not more studying. Because why? You have to understand. Don't claim what you are not in Canada. Listen, I don't have money to waste for school. Rather, it's just like the common Nigerian. We are looking for ways to make money. So I cannot be wasting money on something that what are you telling me? Okay, Frederick Mill is saying, always have a backup plan, even if you come on study program, because PR is not a right. Very correct. In fact, perfectly correct. Frederick Mill has said it, that permanent residence is not a right. Even me that I'm saying that, yes, I'm a permanent resident, it is not my right. It is a privilege. Canada will tell you, it is not your right. Even to become a citizen, it's not your right. It is a privilege. And now that I knew that it was not my right, and I knew that it is a privilege, it's better I spend minimum money that I know that if this money is gone, it will not pay me too much. If this money is gone, I'll just know that, okay, it's just part of life. It's part of life. Even as I am here now in Canada, God forbid anything happen, God forbid. But the truth is, we have seen people that lose their permanent resident status, especially if they commit a huge crime, you understand, or they are inadmissible to Canada based on medical records and things like that. You understand? But the way I live my life, I live it in a way that anything that comes, it comes. And you understand? We enjoy life. By virtue of my permanent resident card, I've traveled. You understand? I've used the PR status to go to a country that I may not have necessarily been able to go to from Nigeria. You understand? I've enjoyed myself. So understanding that these things are not your rights, they are they are privileges. And because they are privileges, use it when you can. Use that privilege when you can. Okay. Fifi Arthur is saying Canada na scam, bro. They use international students to make money. Yes, Canada is a scam. Me, I always tell people, anything you say, you are right. Anything you say, you are right. Me, I don't argue. If you say Canada is a scam, you are right, brother. You are very right. They use international students to make money. Very right. That is from Fifi Arthur. That's why I always tell you, don't go and be giving them free money. Don't give them free money. When you don't give them free money, you will not fall into their trap. I mean, it's a very simple thing. Me, I didn't want to fall into their trap. I didn't want them to scam me. That's why I did not pay for studies. That's why I did not go to school. I did not do college. I did not do university. Because I don't want them to scam me. I mean, thank you, Fifi Arthur. I really appreciate that comment. So, if you also don't want them to scam you, don't pay for school that you cannot afford. Lol, Frederick Midi said, lol, 100%. It's true. Anything you say, you are right. You understand? You are right. Canada is a scam to a lot of people. And a lot of people, sometimes I get to feel what people are feeling when they tell me what they are facing. Some people have sold their lands, some have sold their houses, some have sold their properties to come into the country. In fact, let me tell you the fact. Me, I actually closed my business in Nigeria to be able to come into Canada. I remember I sold my business properties, even though some of them, how much did I even make from it? It was not much. I sold it, my billboard. I had a bill. For those that know me now, if you know A.O.S Academy in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, browse it, put it on Google, you will see my billboard, big billboard. I sell am. I sell it to come into the country. It was part of the money I used for my immigration. It was part of the money. But at the end of the day, people were telling me that time when I was applying for immigration that you are scholar of the country. I mean, as a scholar of the country, that one. You that you are scholar of linguistics department in University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. You know book. Go and do your masters. You know book. Do your masters in Canada. They will value you. You can even work in the university. If you see what people were advising me to do. But it's me that now put sense into the advice. Because people can just advise. You cannot force. See, you can't force them to. You can't blame them for the advice they give you. Let me put it that way. You can't blame people for the advice they give you. They advised me to come to study in Canada too. It's me that when I looked at Memorial University, you know, and I looked at the cheapest school. It was one of the cheapest school at that time. It was one of the cheapest because I do research gone. I do research gone. Every day like this, I'll be browsing internet, doing this. I do research. One of the cheapest school, if you want to find out, if you want to know, this thing I'm saying is facts. You can browse online. Cheapest school in Canada, Memorial University will come one of the cheapest, 5 cheapest schools or 10 cheapest schools, thereabout. It will come, you will see it like this, Gedegbe. Memorial University. I say, okay, because I studied linguistics as a bachelor's degree major. So I said, okay, of course, let me continue master's degree in linguistics. And I checked Memorial University. I look at their uni. Let me even check now because let me make sure that I'm current with what I'm saying. It should not be that I'm giving lie. As they say, Google is your friend. So let me check Google again. Memorial University linguistics masters. Let's check it. Memorial University of Newfoundland. Someone was talking about Newfoundland and Labrador. Memorial University, Newfoundland. If you look at their program, one of the cheapest. It's cheap, huh? But let's look at the cheapest. What the cheapest cost? Let's look at the cheapest, and let's say their fees. Their tuition fees. They say Memorial University, the cheapest fee that I saw was $5,718 for master's program. It was the cheapest though that me I saw. You can see something. Oh, sorry, no, sorry, mistake. I made a mistake. That is for what they call it now, for Newfoundland and Labrador students. It's not for people that are from international studies, for international program. You pay $9,666. 9,000. I think around that time it was like 7,000 for me, at 8,000. 2 years ago when I was, or 3 years ago when I was checking. If you look at this money in Nigerian naira, that's like 12 million. 12 million naira. Okay, let me calculate it times 1, 2, 50 to be sure. Yes, 12 million. I'm correct. 12 million for 1 year. For 2 years, how much is that? 24 million. So that time I browsed it. I said, people are advising me, you are a scholar now, you finished as the university scholar, the best student in your bachelor's degree. But those people that are advising you, it's not that they will give you the money. They won't give you the money that, okay, you are the best student, let me support you. It's mouth they will use to mouth. Mouth they will use to advise you. They will not use money and advise you. That's why you can't blame anybody. Even me that I'm talking here, I am using my mouth to advise you. I cannot give you money to advise you. It's the truth. I can't give you money to advise you, but I can use mouth. I can use mouth to advise you. So they gave me mouth. The mouth they gave me, they say, go and study. Your head. They there, book, they there, you know book. You know the book. But me that I know that, yes, I know the book, but I don't have the money. I go and do what I have the money for, or what I can at least get the money for, which was permanent residence. Now, Shade was saying it on the article, that what she learned the hard way. What was what she learned the hard way? She said the thing she learned the hard way was what Frederick Millie said, that Canadian education is not a guaranteed path to permanent residence. This, our sister, she had to stay in Canada for 2 years, study in Canada for 2 years, spend $32,000, roughly 40 million naira in Canada for 2 years before she can understand it. But some people will always say, this thing, they are telling you, I don't have money to give you. I don't have money to give you, but advice I have to render. So it's not even advice, because I'm not a licensed immigration consultant. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't advise you. Even people that are talking to you said they are not advising you. You understand? They are suggesting for you. Yes, that's why my uncles that were in UK, that were saying I shouldn't have studied in Canada, that they couldn't give me money, and I cannot blame them. I cannot blame them, because everybody have their own family to take care of. Everybody are responsible for their own nuclear family. Who are their nuclear family? Their nuclear family is themselves, their spouses, and what? Their children. Am I their children? No. I may be extended family, but I'm not their children. So because I'm not their children, I don't have that, how would I call it? That expectation of them. That, Shebi are the one that suggests that I should go and do study. Oh, yeah, give me money for study. It's all man for himself, God for all. So, what Shade found out after 2 years of staying in Canada, she's my friend, though. You understand? I see her, I see how she struggles, how she works shifts. Apart from the shifts, she even plates hair for people. Even my wife said she will plate air for my wife. You understand? She plates air for people as side hustle. But even the side hustle self, she still can't afford a lot of things. She said Canadian education is not a guaranteed path to permanent residence. Though she now said something, it works for some students. It works. That's why I like her. That's why I'm having this conversation with you. Because she was transparent enough to tell that it works for some students you that yes, when you come into Canada study, and that's why because it works for some, that's why all those some too are part of the some that are telling other people to come for it. But the funny thing is that the sum it works for, in your own turn, you may not be part of the sum. You may not be part of the sum. You understand? And if you want to say, okay, my own will be different, maybe you are part of the chosen, no problem. Come. This at the end of it, it's not me that will give you the money to study. So I cannot decide for you. Because no matter how we suggest to you, you will be the one that will decide yourself. So if you now decide yourself that A.O.S, what A.O.S abroad is saying is a lie, Jerry. What A.O.S abroad is no, that is not how it is. He's just putting a fizzy. He's putting Jara. Okay. Anything you say, anything you decide, no problem. No problem. Because at the end of the day, I won't live your life. You also won't live my life. So if you want to come through that study route, that you feel that study route is the way that you can use to come into Canada, especially, I always say something. Let me remember what I always say that if you're a $10 husband, now be wife, Abi, you are Dangote's son, or you are Alakija's daughter, come to Canada to study. Okay, those people are even far out. Those are still rich billionaires. No problem. If your dad is still a millionaire and you can still afford it. Or forget about your dad. You now you are an adult. Abi, if you are doing business, or forget if you're not doing business, you are part of the politicians in Nigeria. Or even again, forget about politicians. You are sure well to do, one way or the other. You have the money. Please come to Canada to study. In fact, me at A.O.S abroad, we have services that we do give those are international students. We can assist you. You understand? To get your admission. Our licensed immigration consultant, Kesri Immigration, you understand, Mr. Gorinda Singh, he can assist you to help you work on your study permit. He has been doing it for people from India, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, from Nigeria, from you understand, Ghana. If that is his business, he has presence in over 11 countries. You understand? Even us that we have our email subscribers over 100,000, we have a lot of people from about 12 different countries that we talk with. That you understand? So we converse. So if that is what you say you still want to do, please don't take the money that you pay us. Don't take it outside. Please bring it inside. Bring it to us. Let's help you. Let's help you map out that thing. Let's help you design your study plan. Let's help you work towards your study permit. Some people are already doing it. Some people are already in the pipeline. You understand? And I do always tell them, especially when they get admission, congratulations. When they get their study permit, congratulations. When they come into Canada, congratulations. You cannot tell anybody anything apart from that. It's congratulations. But who will face it? It's you. So let's move on before we call it a day. They said it works for some. Canadian immigration, Canadian studies, Canadian programs, it works for some, but again, it doesn't work for others. It doesn't work for everybody. The Shade now said, if your goal is immigration, and as we have said, immigration is not traveling. Traveling is study, visit, work, even asylum. But if your goal is immigration, then your strategy should start from there. It should start from immigrating. Not with a tuition deposit. It is not with your deposit that you feel that you are doing immigration. The tuition deposit, and I like schools to have sense. They are wise. They say, pay deposit before we take you serious. If you don't pay deposit, they won't take you serious. It's when you pay deposit that okay, this one really wants to come to school. So you have to ask yourself, is my program, if you really still want to do studies, is my program aligned with the in-demand skills in Canada? The in-demand skills they need in Canada, is it aligned with it? Don't be like someone that will just say, oh, I'm looking for the cheap program, and business administration is cheap. They know it's cheap now. You understand? But is it aligned with the skills that they need in Canada? If it is not aligned, you're as far as wasting your money. Will it realistically lead to a job that qualifies for permanent residence? Ask yourself, the program you want to do, is it linked to that job that you really want? Am I spending money just to stay longer in the country? Just like the situation of Shadi, spending money to, okay, let me get my PGWP, let me do this, let me do this. She's just staying longer. But will it help her investing in a long-term immigration plan to become a permanent resident? You have to decide that yourself. Now, who is this message for? Who are we talking to when we are talking about this conversation? When we're having this conversation, who are we talking to? Now, we are talking to you if you are still considering studying in Canada for the sake of immigration. We are talking to you if you are a current international student, rethinking your options. If you are rethinking your options, that okay, oh, should I still come to Canada to study, or should I take a different pathway? We are also talking to you if you are someone looking or exploring something cheaper or smarter immigration pathway, because sometimes the things that are cheaper are not smarter. Just like someone that was asking, what are these cheaper studies plan? Business administration is the cheaper. You can come into Canada as a student studying business. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. But is it smarter? It may not be. Please learn from Shade's experience. Learn from my experience. Sometimes, just like me, I always do, if someone has made a mistake, if someone has done something that is not smart enough, then me too, I don't need to follow through that unsmart decision. I can learn from the decision she made, which was not smart enough, instead of me making that same mistake. Because some people will still come next year, upper year. Oh, they did not tell me, they did not tell me. We are telling you now. They did not tell me, I was not informed. You are now informed. If you join this live session, or one person shared the live session with you, you understand? Or you peradventure just listen to me anytime talking about it, you have been informed. Did I give you money? No, I cannot give you money. But can I give you advice? That one. Suggestion is free. You can give a free suggestion. You will not pay for it. If you go and meet even licensed immigration consultants, like our consultants or our lawyer that we're working with, before he has a consultation with you, you pay money. The advice he wants to give you, many of the advice he wants to give you, even though he is a professional, you understand? Many of the advice we give you, some people will give you these things free of charge online, just like we are giving you now. That will not pay for it. But some of you will have to pay for it later on. Especially if you feel that the person is not professional. This person doesn't know what he's saying. No problem. You go on the consultation of some people and you pay money. No problem. No problem. Even though if it is not us. Now, Shade was saying it. What I would have done differently. She's saying, let's say she knew. What could she have done differently? She said she would have spoken to an immigration consultant or a lawyer or even a concerned travel educator, like a friend at A.O.S abroad, at our own organization, before applying to school. She would have considered, one, the new easier category-based selections of express entry. Now, yes, she's giving you nudges because, see, she's an international student. She has failed in wasting money for international studies. But now she's not telling you that if you want to come into Canada and stay here permanently, except if you don't want to stay here permanently, if you don't want to stay there, okay, let me just come, give a college $30,000 and go back after 1 year or 2 years. No problem. You can come as a student. But if You want to be here permanently, you can go through the new, easier category-based selections of express entry. One. Two, you can come through the provincial nominee programs, the PMPs. Two, you can come to the rural and francophone community immigration pilots, RCIP and FCIP. Or you can even come through the skilled trade certifications, like the one in construction, that take half time and half money. You will not spend up to 32,000 Canadian dollars. You will not spend up to 40 million. And you will get something that is more than what someone that paid 40 million paid for. Now, she is also saying that, let's say she knew, she would have networked and built job-ready skills that were readily in demand, in high demand, in areas like healthcare, in trades, skilled trades, or in tech. She was doing business. How many people know? How many people write business administration? Forget. It's not in demand in Canada. Now, what is the final thought? Our final thought is that education is not equal to immigration. International education is not equal to what? Immigration. The Canadian education system is world class. Yes, if you want a world class education, come to Canada. Be like all these A.O.S from Nigeria, that they will come into Canada, come into US, come into UK, but they have it in their mentality. They are not like Igbos or Yoruba. They have it in their mentality that, if I study finish, just to get the certificate and go back to my home country. But the question is, are you A.O.S, or do you have the mentality of A.O.S? If you don't have the mentality of A.O.S, if you are not A.O.S yourself, if you want to come here and stay here, like say we die here, then note, the education system is world class, but it is not an immigration guarantee. It is not a guarantee for immigration. Do you understand? Now, if you are reading this and still considering spending tens of thousands on tuition, please pause. Ask yourself, is there a smarter route to you fulfilling your Canadian dream? Except if the dream that you have is not staying in Canada permanently, but going back home willingly or forcefully after 1 to 2 years of studies. The wrong choice that Sade made, it resulted in one, giving a college a hard-earned 32,000 Canadian dollars, 40 million naira for a paper certificate. I like how she said it. She said paper certificate. Because at the end of the day, where will they put a certificate? It's on the paper now. It's not that they will give you money while they are giving you certificates. No, they will give you paper while they are giving you the certificates. In fact, there are some schools now that will send your certificates online. It's really you that will print it yourself. You know that? So sometimes it's PDF. It's PDF that you get. Sometimes. One queen, 3 king. Thank you very much for that king. It's PDF. Imagine you spent 2,000 Canadian dollars for either paper or PDF. Imagine, Frederick Mindy, thank you. It's true because the program I started studying in the UK, United Kingdom, under this school, what is this school said? University of East London, UEL, University of East London. Till today, I have not finished the masters. My friend that finished his own masters, he said they were telling him in the school, because it was an online masters. It was online. He said if he doesn't want to come to graduate with his set, then no problem. They can, you understand, send him his online certificate. When I say online certificate, what is that? They say PDF. So they will send PDF. Then I say, okay, if he wants them to send the paper certificate to him in his house in Nigeria, he has to pay for courier service and pay for the printing. I say, so they will, apart from the tuition fee, they will still collect money for printing. Imagine. You know, then I say, okay, if he doesn't want to do that, he can come to the school and graduate with his set, you understand, physically. But the question is, what will they still give him when he goes there physically? It's still paper. It's still paper. Eh? Now, let me be see, it's not that I'm against education. I'm not against education. I'm educated myself. You understand? I love education. I value education. But don't think that education is immigration. That's the problem I'm having with people. Education is not equal to immigration. Immigration is separate. Education is separate. So if you want education, pursue it wholeheartedly. Just like me, when I came into Canada, I thought education was equal to grants. I thought it was equal to money. But when I applied, I got the admission. I got the admission in a good university, one of the best universities in Canada. But when they were telling me that this professional certification I applied for is not OSAP eligible, you won't get grants for it. I said, now my own go lost. I quickly withdraw. I don't do again. So let's be guided. JP, thank you very much for liking. Lord, yes, let's be guided. Be guided in your decision making. Don't be fooled, and don't say that you were not informed. So Shade was saying that the wrong choice she made resulted in giving a college a hard-earned 32,000 Canadian dollars, 40 million naira for a paper certificate. Number two, she said that certificate didn't help her qualify for permanent residence after her 2 years of studies in Canada. Three, she said now she has to start learning the same French that she ran away from 2 years ago to get PR in Canada. Yes, you know I'm a French teacher. I'm a French coach. I teach French. That's what I do. And that was one of the conversations we were having when she came to visit. And she said, oh, Shebi, you are teaching French. Shebi, you came into Canada with French. See, let me tell you something. The nonsense certificate you are trying to get in Canada, the rubbish diploma you are applying to get in Canada, when it comes to permanent residence, it is lesser in value than the French skill you need to get. It is, see, can you even spend 3,000? I don't think you can spend 3,000 in learning French. Let's even assume that you spend 10%, which I don't want to know how you learn that French that you spend 10% of 32,000 Canadian dollars. I don't want to. Is it golden French? Is it golden French? You can't spend 3,000 to learn French. What is French? Just this skill that if you are very serious, 6 months, you learn. It won't take you 2 years. It will take you 2 years. And I don't know the school you will go to that they will not quote you $3,000 to learn French. I don't want to know what they want to teach you. One is not degree, it's not diploma, it's not paper certificates. This one, recognized program. The people that were teaching French now, they will get a French diploma when they finish learning from France, from Paris, France, from Ministère Éducation Internationale, Paris, France. They will get that diploma. DELF, apart from even TEF is number one, yes, for immigration or TCF. But apart from that, just like I did when I was learning French, when I was coming to Canada, they will get diplôme d'études d'approfondie de la langue française. Oh, let me calm down. Either they get one of the two, either diplôme d'études de la langue française, which is DELF, or diplôme d'approfondie de la langue française, which is DAF. Either DELF B2 or DAF C1. They will get it. That is a diploma that is recognized in France, in Belgium, in Canada. Because when you are coming to Quebec, when you are going to the province of Quebec, you can use that DELF. And you will not spend 3,000. You will not spend 3,000. So the same, now she ran away from learning French 2 years ago. But now because she has seen that the people that they are selecting, the major people they are selecting are people that can speak French. She's not coming to A.O.S abroad, our own online language institute, our own online language school. She's coming to learn French for just 6 months. You understand? 6 months to get a permanent residence. And now, since she has lost at 32,000 Canadian dollars, she is broke. And she can't use that $32,000 that she was meant to use to actually start a business under the entrepreneurial stream. She can't use it because she doesn't have the money again. In fact, it's not that she doesn't have the money, she is even now in debt. She has to pay her loans from loan sharks that she collected money from, that the interest will keep on increasing if she doesn't pay on time. You understand? Now she cannot even fund a skilled trade certification program that leads directly to PR, permanent residence, because of course, see that hairdressing I talked about that she knows how to do. If she's to go to an hairdressing school, she will even pay more than that 3,000 that is for French. So just like the average person, she is looking for cheap. And the cheap she's still looking for is the French studies that she's starting to learn now. Yes, our own is cheap. If you are serious, you learn French, it's cheap. You learn French. If you want to know how to learn French, go on A.O.S. academy.com. Go on A.O.S. academy.com to learn French. Let me see what not teach you French. You will learn French and you will not spend $3,000. 10% of that money, you will not spend it. You understand? You will not spend it. You will learn French on that website through our guardianship, and you'll be able to what? You'll be able to qualify for permanent residence in Canada. For those that don't know my history, what selected me to come into Canada? It was French. I entered Canada through the Ontario French-speaking skilled worker program. I entered Canada through the skill that did not require me to spend 32,000 Canadian dollars. I did not spend 40 million. And I have started learning French since 200 level in the university. I left for like 5 years now before I started working on my permanent residence. From that 5 years, I don't think I spent 3,000 till when I came into Canada for French. I know. Where do you want to spend 3,000? Where do you want to spend 10% of that 32,000? Where? Which school wants to teach you that they will say big thing? You know how much 3,000 is? That's roughly like 3.5 million naira. Which school wants to collect 3.5 million naira from you? When they never allow me this. You understand? Now, Bobby Dre is saying that's for those wanting to go to Quebec. Of course, I've said it. Delve Beach is for Quebec. I told you. I said it. So if you want to go to Quebec, and I did tell people. In fact, it's when I was coming to Canada, I did not care any province. It's man, I don't enter Canada. I did not care any province. I say any province that accepts me, I go. I applied to 4 different provinces: Ontario, Quebec, Prince Edward Island, Saskatchewan. Even other provinces like British Columbia, you know, under express entry, and they say you can tick. I tick. I tick it. All the provinces, I say anyone that pick me, I move. That year, 2022, just 2 provinces that pick me. Quebec picked me and Ontario picked me. But because, of course, Ontario is the major province now. It's the province where things are happening. So I had to pick Ontario because 2 provinces picked me. So I picked Ontario. Bobby Dre is saying, I spent 40K for my diploma certificate. Child, yes. Okay, is it you that spent? Because we are talking about Shadi that spent 40 million naira. That is 32,000 Canadian dollars. Oh, okay, you are saying you spent 40,000 Canadian dollars for my diploma certificate. Child, congratulations, sir. Congratulations. It's good that you spent it. You got a certificate too. I mean, okay, yeah, Bobby Joe is saying it. Yes, you got your certificate now. They gave you the paper certificate. Or is it PDF? They gave you which one? No, see, that's the frank. We are talking about Shadi in this. We're not talking about you. You understand? For my course in Ontario, yes, good. Your course in Ontario, that's the course you wanted to study now. I mean, Bobby Dre, that's the course you desire to study. You're like, it was your dream course. I mean, it was a dream course. Even in Nigeria, I remember when I studied my bachelor's degree in linguistics in Nigeria, University of Ilorin. That time, how much were we paying? 20,000 naira for one session. It was never up to $33,000. It was never up to 10% of the 2,000 Canadian dollars. Which, well, I don't know now. Now I think things are changing, so I cannot say now. But that time, from 2012 to 2016, which school we say they want to collect three? I'm not talking about forget private school, federal school, state school can even say, okay, come and pay hundreds of thousands. In Unilong, if they even say they want to collect 50,000, we go to invest. We go to invest. Say we're on top with it. We will do protest, even though that time there was nothing like protest. But I think you get the idea. So let's round off the article that we had with this lady. She said that many of our colleagues in Canada now are being told to go back home, and many even paid more or less than what she paid. Just like, okay, see Bobby Dre, for instance, on TikTok, who is saying, I spent 40,000 Canadian dollars for my diploma certificate in Canada. In Ontario, he spent 40,000 Canadian. So thank God I even said it. It shows that to an extent, what I'm saying is factual. You understand? What Sade was saying in terms of her own tuition fee is factual. Because Sade said she spent 32,000 Canadian dollars. And that's she's in Ontario. So for Bobby Dre on TikTok to spend 40,000, that is roughly 50 million naira. 50 million naira to study in Canada. It shows that what Sade was saying is right. 50 million naira. You know how much 50 million naira a day for Nigeria. But forget, many people don't look at that. They look at the value you get out of the 50 million naira. Yes, Bobby Dre say he's right too. Yes, they look at the value they get out of the 50 million, which you may not be able to get from Nigeria. You spend that say 50 million. I understand, because I remember I was in business. I was frustrated in business in Nigeria. They use my high see where for Nigeria because the value for the money was not there in Nigeria. No matter how much you spend, sometimes the forces behind success in that country will make it difficult for you to get it, for you to see the value of the money you spend. And that's why many of us had to flee. Now, this country, we don't stay here. Came to Canada. Look at Bobby Dre. Bobby Dre is saying that in his own case, he spent 40,000 Canadian dollars. That is roughly 50 million naira for his own Ontario diploma certificate. For his own Ontario diploma certificate. Imagine. So, thank God we have someone coming on live telling us that it's not only Sade. He spent thousands of dollars. But the question I want to ask Bobby Dre on TikTok is that now that you spent that 40,000 Canadian dollars, which is 50 million naira, have you gotten your permanent residence status? Are you now in Canada fully? Did you get the opportunity to switch your status from study permit to permanent residency visa? Are you now even a citizen? Especially if you have spent the money before, like I've spent it like years ago. Are you now a citizen? Bobby Dre, please answer my question. I really appreciate it. You said you can join the live. You can join. Are you now either a permanent resident or a citizen? The money you spent, because I know that's the next question people will ask. The money you spent in school, 40,000 Canadian dollars, have you made that money? And have you made more than that money in Canada? Please put it on the comment section. All right, thank you. I see a lot of people joining live. I see Renowned Fashion backup. And who again? I think that's Daniel. Oh no, it's Daniel or Dauda Ogujobi. Please, if you have any questions, ask your questions. This is the time. We're having a very good conversation. Ask your questions. Okay, Bobby Dre is saying something. Well, I'm closer to it in UK than Canada, sharp. Though I just finished. Okay. All right. So you are in the UK, United Kingdom, and I think people know UK too, that like Canada. In UK too, education is not free. It's not like Germany that is free. You pay. So he said it's closer to it, it's closer to making it in the UK. I will pray for you by God's grace. God will allow you to make it. You will make more. Because as they always say, education is an investment, it's the best legacy. It's the best legacy. And we agree. We agree that it's the best legacy. But what we are just trying to say in this live session is that the best legacy does not equate to Canadian immigration. The fact that you get the best legacy does not mean that Canadian government should not give you permanent residency. It's a different ballgame. You understand? It's a different ballgame. I hope we understand that. Now let's move on. Shade was saying it on the conversation we had, that many of our colleagues paid either more than what she paid or less than what she paid. You understand? And are now even told by the Canadian government to go back home. But she now said, well, gracefully, I am not told to self-deport myself yet, as I am still working 2 below minimum wage jobs part-time. Now look at this. So look at this. These are the things people don't say. These are the things we don't hear online. She said she is someone that has ICANN, she has ACCA, she is what? She is a chartered accountant, but she came into Canada with business administration to study postgraduate diploma. And now she's working 2 below minimum wage jobs. She said she's working in a restaurant where they're paying her peanuts. You understand? 2 restaurants actually. Two. You understand? Some people will be thinking, she's making money. She said people that are permanent residents, people that are citizens, are not working as much as she is working, but they are making more than what she's making. Now understand that these are the things that they will not tell you. These are the things that people don't understand. Let's move on. She said, I am still working 2 below minimum wage jobs part-time, as most companies here in Canada are not willing to staff you as a full-time permanent worker, not even as a student, not even still as a student who lacks permanent resident or citizenship status. Now, this is another fact. Another fact she poured in. That's why we couldn't even use her name, because they should not hold that. So people always think it's only in Nigeria that some of these things happen. It happened in other countries too. Look at what you're saying. She said most companies here will not staff you. They will not let you become a full-time permanent job worker, especially as a student, because of course the law does not allow you to get a full-time job. I understand that. I understand. Yes, the law, especially if you're still an international student, the only thing you can do is part-time job. You can't do full-time job. I understand that one. But now look at it. If you don't have the permanent resident status or citizenship status, you can't get that full-time job. You can't be paid what you really desire or what you really, you understand, what your value you can't be given. And she said again, these are all the facts that she had to learn when she got into Canada and wasted so much money, time, and effort already. She's now telling you, advising people that are still in Nigeria or people that are already in Canada but want to do things differently, that you have to be wise with your own finances. And don't say you weren't informed like me, because Nigerians, I like Nigerians online. They did not tell me. They are telling you now. They are telling you now. Do you want to waste? I do always tell people. When I was conversing with someone, I said, all the money I spent when I was in Nigeria for permanent residence was about 6.7 million naira. 6.7 million naira. And I was telling people that 6.7 million naira, I spent it for like a span of 3-4 years to work for permanent residence. Myself, because I didn't work with anybody, it was myself. And that's why I always tell people, you can do the DIY. It's not compulsory to pay another person for immigration. Do it yourself. Look at the live session we're having. We're having it to enlighten people for free. That if you want to do your immigration yourself, do it yourself. Yes, we partner with immigration consultants. We partner with lawyers. But if you don't want to work with them, you can do it yourself. You understand? If you go on our website, aos.name.ng, or you go on the what they call it, profile, go on our profile on either Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and click on the link. We have videos, webinar videos we have done for you there in details. There's one video that someone is still complaining about. That, oh boy, how can you talk for 4 hours? I say yes, so it's because I wanted to give people everything. I wanted to give you all the steps I followed. 4 hours. 4 hours webinar. That some people are saying they did not watch it totally at once. They were watching it one by one. Once they do one process, they watch it. Once they want to start another process, they watch another part. They want to do another process, they watch on. That is it. You can do things by yourself freely. You understand? You don't need to pay anybody because I too did it. So I cannot say you too, you should not don't want to work with someone. No, you can do it yourself. Do you understand? But be informed. That's where we come in. We are here to inform you. We are here to educate you. Don't say that you were not told. Don't say that you did not know. Now that brings us to our next session, the bonus. For those that were able to wait, because this is like in fact, this is the longest live session I've done before on these platforms. More than close to 2 hours right now. So the bonus that we have for people that joined us on this platform for these 2 hours is the free checklist. If you want a smarter way, a smarter permanent residency focused roadmap to immigrate to Canada. You want to immigrate. You don't want to just travel because some people, in fact, I remember in the year 2023 when we were coming into Canada as an immigrant, me and my spouse. I remember that time. Some people at the airport, you could have known that these ones are not immigrants; they are travelers because they are already stranded. Yes, they got the visa. Yes, they got the permanent, the study permit or the work permit, but they don't know what next to do. Some people don't even have accommodations yet. Some people, they just, in fact, imagine someone coming to school or coming to Canada and telling us that, oh, please, where is, as if maybe I'm the one that know, I'm the student, asking me that, please, where is Seneca College? You don't know how to go to Seneca College. You don't have accommodation in Seneca College. You don't imagine. It is my agents that do it for me. So people don't even know college name. Some students don't even know their college name. The name of the school that they apply to, they don't know because they just say it's travel agent that do it for me. And at the end of the day, they'll be blaming travel agents. Travel agents have done his own best to help you get the visa. I mean, you to do your own best to at least know what he did for you. You did not ask questions. You did not know. You just come into Canada. You now say at the port of entry, they deny you. If they did not do your visa, will you even get into the port of entry? Will you even enter the plane? But that one is even at the other side. Okay, down there, Ogunjobi is asking that how many months will it take to help someone with permanent residence to Canada? These are the very generic questions we always get. And sometimes when we answer it affirmatively, or when we answer it the way we are meant to answer it, people will say, this one not doing it. Or this one not want to tell me something. Okay, so let me not tell you something. If you want to come into Canada, you asked how many months. It can take you 6 months based on the Canadian immigration website. Because on the Canadian immigration website, under the program known as Federal Skilled Worker Program of the Express Entry, permanent residence processing will take you 6 months. But again, people always say, 6 months. Some people say, okay, is it not too long? I want to come faster. Some people say, okay, 6 months, how can I get started? But they don't know the salient information behind that 6 months. For permanent residence programs, in fact, the programs under permanent residence are more than 80 to 100 programs. I just told you one program. I told you one Federal Skilled Worker Program under Canada. Me, for instance, I didn't come through Federal Skilled Worker Program, even though I'm a permanent resident. I came through PNP, Provincial Nominee Program, which even the Provincial Nominee Program is not just one program. Under Provincial Nominee Program, we have over 60 programs. The one I came through was Ontario Skilled Worker Program. Ontario French-speaking Skilled Worker Program. That one didn't take me 6 months. It took me 9 months to actually get it. And the 9 months doesn't include the months that it took me to actually get my documentations right. Because before that 9 months, I had to do A.O.S. I had to do TEF Canada. I had to do even DELF exam. I had to submit my document to Canada for evaluation. All those ones, If I'm to calculate the time it took me to get my documents first before I apply, before everything, it took me nothing less than 3 years. But some people don't like to hear years. When they hear years like this, oh boy, they will say, no, me, I cannot wait for years. Let me come to Canada first. And that is why they come through study permits. But no. When I come to Canada, I'll be figuring it out. No problem. Sade too is figuring it out now. Sade too is in the process where she's figuring it out. If she figures it out, well, God bless her. Thank God for her. If she doesn't, just like she said, our other friends that they are telling them to deport themselves. And Canada is very lenient. Canada will tell you at the end of the program, deport yourself. Go back yourself. But if you not go back yourself, you either become an illegal immigrant or many people will rush to seeking asylum. And no problem. Once they deny you also, instead of you deporting yourself alone, you understand, they will not help you. They will help you by putting you on the plane and deporting you. But that is if it is not successful. If it is successful, thank God you become a PR, you become a permanent resident. Okay, I hope I've answered that question the best I could. Now let's move on. The bonus, the free checklist we have for you today is from the question: do you want a smarter permanent residence focused roadmap to immigrate to Canada? If you want, A.O.S abroad is giving you this as a token, as a freebie to direct you in the right pathway now. So you can download our free Canada immigration checklists on our website, aos.name.ng. If you don't know it, no problem. Just go on our profile. If you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube, go on our profile and click the link that you see there. You'll be able to download it. And you'll also be able to watch our free Canada immigration webinar videos that discuss in details your permanent residence routes. You understand? All what I told you that it took 4 hours. Some people say they cannot watch things for 4 hours. They don't have MP. I've heard a lot of things from the Nigerians. They don't have MP to actually go through 4 hours video. No problem. That's why we made summary, 40 minutes video. Instead of 4 hours, you have 40 minutes video. Still on that link, click on the link and watch the webinar. You don't want to watch the webinar, no problem. Download the free checklist. You understand? Download the free checklist on that website. Once you put your details, you'll be able to download. You don't want to download. You don't have time to put your email. You don't have time to, no problem. This conversation you had, this live session you joined is enough. You understand? You can also watch my other social media videos that we have made before this time to learn. Because some people say, no, is it until I click link? No, don't click link. See, that's why I always tell people, we can't force you to do anything. We can't force you. You understand? Anything you want to do, do it. In fact, you can just go on YouTube, browse it out, how to come to Canada within 6 months. You will see it. Yeah, a lot of things are there. You can go on Google. In fact, ChatGPT now is your friend. ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT. You see, me, I always like to be transparent because whether I like it or not, whether I say it or not, people will still do it. So it's better I say it and people see that yes, I've given you the options that are available. So Dauda Ogujobi is asking. So it will take 6 months, bro. Mr. Dauda, I think I've explained in details enough. It can take 6 months for you if you are fast with it. If you are not fast with it, it can take more than that. If you are even faster with it, it can take less than that. We have seen people that have come to Canada within 5 months, within 4 months. The funny thing is, it is possible. Is it possible for everybody? No. You understand? Is it everybody that will come to Canada in 6 months? No. You understand? Just like my friend Nelly. That's one of my friends, Nelly. Nelly came into Canada within 7 months or so. And he told me that he started working on his process. That was far back as 2022. The guy was so fast. It's 2022, I'll be 2020. 2020, where COVID was, like he said, the month he came into Canada, like the second week, they closed border. And it took him just 7 months. Was I like Nelly? No. Me, my own, it took me 3 years. So Sometimes it can take you 6 months, as the Canadian immigration website says. Sometimes it can take you less than that. Sometimes it can take you more than that. The question is, how prepared are you? Do you have documentations required? You want to know documents? Go on our website, you see all the documents that you need there to actually get started. All right. So if you want a smarter way, get our checklist, watch the webinar videos, and if you still want us to talk, that okay, let's talk. Have you made a similar decision before? Are you like Shade that came into Canada, choose to study? Or you are like Benny Dre, or Bonnie Dre, what's his name now? That he said he spent 40,000 Canadian dollars, 50 million naira to actually come and study in Canada. Are you like them? If you are like them, let's have a discussion. Put it on the comment section. Do you regret or do you appreciate your study route? Because yes, we just talked about one side, and I don't like to talk about one side. Bobby Dre, for instance, he talked about his own side. Okay, he's not only in Canada, he's in the UK. You understand? And he's just finishing and he's getting, you understand, to actually adjust to it. He's getting closer to it. Congrats with him. Do you regret your own journey, or do you appreciate your own study route? Let's discuss in the comment section. And you can feel free to message us. You understand? Feel free to put it down on the comment section. What is your next step? Do you still want to go through the study route, or do you want to go through the permanent residency route? Put it on the comment section. Let's hear from you. Do you have any questions? If you have questions, drop it in the comment section. Let's chat in the comments on the DMs. Share your own thoughts and your own questions in the comment section. Are you interested in more insights about Canadian immigration? If you are interested, then subscribe to our newsletter and also visit our website, aos.name.ng, for more information, for more tips, more guides, and more updates on your path to Canadian permanent residency. So to your international success, A.O.S. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And if we don't have any questions again, then we'll call it a day right now. So thank you very much, everyone, once again. And I do hope to see you in our next live sessions. For those that know us, at least every week, we always come on live once a week to actually answer your questions and to talk to you about immigration and to answer your questions. So don't forget to also join us same time, same place, and another day. Whether tomorrow or next, anytime we have a trending topic, we would come on live to talk with you. And we do hope that you also join us in our next live sessions. So thank you very much, everyone, once again, and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now. Au revoir.